Hello everyone! Enough time has passed, we are in the second half of 2.0 and I think it's time to talk about it. After 2 weeks spent playing, I can say with absolute certainty that this has been one of the single best updates to a modern gacha game today. And today, let's talk about how they did it and why I consider this to have set a new standard for all gacha games to follow. My name's Tomo, and as an Italian guy I'm definitely biased in my personal enjoyment of the new region, but nonetheless what this patch has brought to the game is of such magnitude that my personal bias won't impact much to your overall judgment anyway. So, this patch has brought to the game the heavily Italian-inspired region of Rinascita, which in Italian means rebirth and is actually pronounced Rinascita, but I'll spare you every single proper pronunciation because that's gotta be a separate video. Rinascita as a region has stunning sights all over, from the Venetian-inspired main city of Ragunna, to the ominous mountain, to the floating bang, what the fuck? I lived in Italy my whole life, I ain't never seen this. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the most stunning sight of all, Zani. But seriously, this region is simply a gem that is honestly not really all that Italian past the main city, but feels a lot more like a classic high fantasy world you see in something like Freerun, which is definitely a big change in tone from the monotone post-apocalyptic sites of Jinzo. And to be fair, Kuro did already cook from 1.1 with Mount Firmament, but if we're strictly talking 1.1 versus 2.0, it's a very big jump. But one I'm definitely glad they did. And this change in design philosophy isn't only felt in the open world, but also the character designs, which are a lot more colorful and visually appealing with stunning character models in game. I would say they've been cooking in this department since Shorekeeper, but I'm glad they're keeping it up. Consistency is what we want here. Going back to the open world talk, the exploration was made a lot more accessible and honestly basically brain dead, which some may think it's a bad thing, but honestly, exploring these huge ass regions with no guides gets very fucking boring very fast. In all of these games, it just does. This is why also, little tangent, I'd rather the next good gacha games do not be open world because it does get tiring, but maybe I'll talk about this open world fatigue sometime in the future. Let me know if I'm not the only one feeling this, and maybe I'll make a video properly discussing it. But really, Kuro with this update basically solved it for this game. You're able to challenge new bosses you need for materials before you actually find them on the map, which is a very big deal because anecdotally I've seen people quit Genshin because as newbies they couldn't get the materials for new characters they needed without going through 30 hours of story first. These things matter. And talking strictly world exploration, they've added so many movement options that make the game just a lot more of a smooth sailing experience. Namely, the biggest of all, in my opinion, being the flight gadget, which takes your character and transforms into a fucking fighter jet. You go so fucking fast. It's actually a game changer, but I'm not gonna lie, I wish it was also available in Jinzo. That's the only complete miss with the update. Just fucking add it, what are you doing? But it isn't just the fly, it's also the bear jumps, the grapple manta rays, the gondolas, and there's probably something I'm missing, but the point is, it really does change everything. Going over the story, which was good, not perfect obviously, but a far cry from the 1.0 experience. Again, I will be comparing 1.0 to 2.0 a lot, but Kuro Games has been steadily improving with previous patches and you honestly should watch my video on just that. The video stops at 1.3, but there wasn't any content in 1.4, so it's pretty accurate. Without going into spoiler territory, the story improved a fair bit in the presentation department, where even sections where we were essentially just standing around talking had some interesting camera panning and changes of scene to make this a lot more visually appealing. And it's not anything crazy just yet, but with steady improvement as we've been having, I can see this by 3.0 being something very good. Plus the way they're starting to include more of the action into the story progression itself with sections such as the Of It Out of the Vault one, making the storytelling just a lot more interesting than we were used to before. But again, they did show signs of improvement in earlier patches, and I'm tapping the sign again, go watch that video. Truth is, the launch was terrible and a lot of people never ended up coming back to experience those 1.x patches, while this game has significantly improved in any and all departments you can think of, including the music for Rinascita, which honestly just fucking take a listen.
How is it a classic? It just came out, nigga, listen to it. Then go to sleep, wake up, listen to it again, nigga. It's a classic. I ain't gonna say it again, it's a classic.
Other than the music, what really blew me out of the water with this update was just the insane amount of quality of life on the things that fucking matter. I've already mentioned the early access to bosses and such, but like, getting the fucking crafting table in the inventory, God, we needed that so bad. The next two are basically cosmetic, but I'll bring them up. First off, the ability to change your character's genders, which, why isn't this a default option in any of these games? I don't fucking get it. And being able to remove the UI for some immersion. Or maybe if you just hate the post-Genshin UI all these fucking games use like I do. And I will mention this again, in case y'all forgot, the fucking movement options. I hate to do it, but I have to draw a comparison to Genshin here. Actually, I don't hate to do it. Now, the thing with Genshin is that movement options have always been extremely scarce. Back in the day, all we had was Venti E, Kazuha E, Yellen E, that's it. And the fundamental problem with that is that they're all locked behind characters, which you won't necessarily have, and also they're not even that impactful. Now Link characters have also raised this issue to a whole nother level because what the fuck is this? But look at Wuwa, everybody gets to fly, everybody gets to do wacky jumps with the bear. This is how you give freedom to a player, which is also very on brand for Inosita because it is one of the themes of the main story. Point is, Wuthering is focusing on what matters, and that is taking their game from an unpolished gem that was 1.0 to a very serious contender as one of the top games in the gacha space and generally just an extremely competent action game. With all of this said, I think now you understand how Wuwa has not only set a new standard for itself, but it set a new standard for big updates of all similar games. This is what a 2.0 update should look like. But now let's talk about the future, namely the biggest milestone, which will be the anniversary, which is 4 months away. I know in recent times with modern gacha games, anniversary updates have honestly not been as impactful as new number 0.0 updates, or if we're talking Hoyo games, Chinese New Year events feel more like anniversary, but I think this is where Wuwa could swoop in and show they actually understand what they're doing. Anniversary updates are the big money makers for gacha games, and I want Kuron to not take it lightly. Now, just let me use unleveled echoes to level up other echoes and the leap pincer maneuver from the fucking games, and this game is a 10 out of 10. Like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord please, do all the YouTube stuff you guys already know, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.